I'm going to leave this up. So let's look at the conversational hypnosis version. So this is the timeline we're going to play with. And like I said, the more content we can get out for this, even better. This is just my formula that I play with. It's known as the PHITTR formula. This will give you the timeline from start to finish, just like the start from the pre-talk all the way up till testing. Okay? So let's break this down and spend the rest of our time learning how to do it. So this P stands for priming. Priming is just a better word for pre-talk. Okay. The H stands for the hypnotic interview. That's when we're going to find out what's really going on inside of a client's head, find out what's their problem and how we can help them. The I, as the same as the classical version, is our induction. Okay, we're going to close the conscious minds, allow the unconscious mind to express itself. The T stands for therapy, just like the other timeline. Okay. This T stands for testing, and the R stands for repeat if necessary. The great thing about this formula, and why it helped me so much, is it can be adjusted to suit a smoker, weight loss, anxiety, scared of green chickens, monsters under the bed, whatever your client comes in to see you for, this formula fits exact. The reason why is because it is so flexible. Does that make sense, guys? Okay. Who would rather do this version that depicts you have to follow these steps, or who would rather do this where it's just flexible and you can just try something and then go back to it over and over again? A lot easier this side. The easier it is for you as a therapist, the better the results will be. Why? Because you're no longer anxious. You're no longer scared about treating clients. It becomes a way you think and a way you feel as a hypnotist. Does that make sense, guys? Okay. Any questions just on that? No, you don't know how to do it yet, but that's where we're headed. Any questions on either of those? No, pretty straightforward. Okay. So I'll keep using this board. We're going to break this down and play with exercises accordingly. So, who has had someone try to hypnotize them before and it didn't work? Okay, yeah, sort of. Who has been hypnotized before and had an experience of it? Okay, believe it or not, there's only 4 steps. I'll give you 3, but I'll give you the bonus 4. 3 steps that it takes to actually create what is called a hypnotic trance, regardless of the person, regardless of their personality, regardless if you're under the assumption that the smarter the person is, the easier they are to be hypnotized, or the less intelligent, the easier. Those myths are out the window. There's 3 steps, I'll give you the bonus 4 as well, that everyone has to go through, whether they know it or not, to be quote unquote hypnotized. Okay, I'll put this down here. Who's heard of the ABS formula before? Okay, just a few of us, probably the returning students. Okay. This ABS, or these 3 steps, is what it takes for you to be hypnotized. This ABS formula exists in every one of these steps. So this is what it takes to be hypnotized. This is the timeline of a hypnotherapy session. Does that make sense? Okay. So let's look at the A first off. The A stands for attention. We need undivided attention from our clients in order for them to experience a hypnotic trance. Would anyone hazard a guess as to why attention might be so important?
Because you're there for them.
You're definitely there for them. What else?
Give their conscious mind something to do.
Perfect. Give their conscious mind something to do. Before you can take the lid off, what do you need to do? Put your hand on it and twist. You need to make eye contact with it so you know where to put your hands. Attention gives the conscious mind something to do, and believe it or not, attention fuels a trance. Okay? If you don't have enough fuel in your car and you're driving, what happens? The car stops. If you don't have enough attention throughout your entire interaction as a hypnotist, the trance will stop and your client will come out premature. Does that make sense? Okay. The B, I'll give you A here, B here, bypass the conscious mind. Bypass the conscious minds. Okay. This is your induction. This is where your induction is. Okay. The S stands for stimulate. The unconscious minds. That's where your therapy comes in. If all you did by the end of this 3 days was just understand those 3 steps, you will be doing more than most hypnotists out there, I can guarantee that. Okay? When you understand that in order to bypass the conscious mind, all you need is any induction, no matter how many you have in your suitcase of inductions, they all do the same thing, you're ahead of the bunch. If you realize that in order to do any therapy, whether it's a snake phobia, spider phobia, scared of water, anxiety, confidence, weight loss, in order to do therapy, all you need to do is stimulate the unconscious mind and just interact with it and play with it like you would do a child. You'll get a therapeutic response every single time. Sounds too easy, right? Okay.
Can you define for me what you mean by a therapeutic response?
Yes, so a therapeutic response or a therapeutic release, client comes in with an issue, leaves without it. That's what I mean.
So you're assuming it's a positive outcome?
Hope so, yes. Or, and I will add to this, not necessarily does it have to be positive, as long as it's something different than what they came in with. I'll give you that in a bit more context. So say a client comes in, needs to quit smoking, and they started smoking 40 a day. But after leaving your office, a couple of days later, they're only smoking 2 a day. They've still got the problem, but something has shifted. That's a therapeutic release. Okay? Does that make more sense? Yeah. For now anyway, okay? So attention is our fuel, bypass is our induction, which we're going to jump into our first induction very soon, and we're going to stimulate the unconscious mind to give them a therapeutic response, or to therapize them. It's a horrible joke, but I'm going to use that word. So what I would like to do, now we have a list of the conscious minds, okay? We know we need to get rid of it. What's the unconscious mind all about? In your groups, just write a list. What is the function of the unconscious mind? Why is it so important? What is this unconscious mind or subconscious all about? So in your groups, write down a list of at